Hey guys, Test Limit or TTL here, and today I'm reviewing a Grandmaster Evelynn. Um, his first clear is a little tiny bit flawed at the main beginning, and I will go over that. But other than that, he had a really good clear, and I would like to go over that and show you how to clear efficiently with Evelynn. So the first mistake, the first thing you want to know is you always want to start blue. So whether you're on red team or blue team, you want to start at blue buff and try and either ward your red yourself or get your teammates to ward your red, because Evelynn is very weak early and is very prone to ganks. So the one mistake he makes is you want to throw your Q as soon as blue buff spawns and is targetable. So right here, as soon as you see that HP bar show up, that means he's targetable. So you want to throw your Q immediately as soon as you see him spawn, but he waits a few seconds before doing anything, and that's the only error that I've really seen with his clear in this game, and that's why I chose this game to review. So what you're wanting to do is you want to make sure that you're kiting and walking to the next camp as you cut the camp. So you're not just going to stay in one place queuing. You're going to walk over as you're using your Q to kind of kite blue buff to the next camp. And then you're going to do the same thing with gromp to the next buff. And you want blue buff to die at about right here and gromp to die at around this area. And I'll go over that with the other buffs as well, but I did want to make that clear before going on with the clear. So you can see him, and you want to make sure you weave autos in with your Q. You'll see him kite it over to Gromp, and then he actually brings it over to Gromp and kills them both at the same time. That's not necessary. As long as you kite blue buff over here, that's fine. And then you'll see him kind of walk Gromp over so that Gromp dies over here. So what he did right here is you want to send your Q over the wall towards the big wolf before you can even see it. And you also want to make sure that each time you throw your Q when doing wolves, you are making sure the first Q, so not the hate spikes, but the first Q is hitting the big wolf. And then make sure the hate spikes are hitting the little wolves. And you can just keep on weaving autos in with the big wolf and kite it over. So right here, he didn't kite it as much as he could have. So when he first started, he kind of brought the wolves from here to like over here. But what you want to do is, and what he could have done, is drag them over here so that he's already in a position to walk to the next camp. So this was probably just a little bit of autopilot. But as long as you walk over to that next camp, you can get wolves dying at around this area. So right as you're about to enter the mid lane. We can just continue with this clear. So right here, you want to make sure that you're throwing your Q over this wall and around this area so that it hits the big raptor. And you can do that before you have vision, just so you can start the camp as early as possible. And if you do this, all of the small raptors will like line up right here so that your Q hits all of them. And then you use your empowered E to go in. So you E in, I know, terrible drawing. But you E into the big raptor, and you can get some autos and the rest of your Qs off right there. So we'll watch him. He throws his Q over the wall, hits the big raptor. The little raptors line up. He E's over, autos, and he's making sure that all of his hate spikes line up with the raptor. So right here, I will say it's a little bit debatable. So you do not have to charm red buff or Krug's. He uses charm. It doesn't really affect the clear too badly. From my own experience, it might make it like 1 second delayed or 2 seconds delayed, but it's nothing major. I probably wouldn't have used charm. And another thing I noticed right here is you're going to see again, he kites red buff over here while waiting for his charm to activate. And you would way rather get the charm activated, just run it over here so that you're closer to starting your next camp. And the only reason I can imagine him doing that is Lee does gank top early, so he may have thought about going top but changed his mind. But yeah, I would, if you're playing Evelynn and you're in the early game, you can't counter gank a Lee Sin anyways. So you're gonna stay farming your jungle. So just farm to the next camp. So he uses his charm and gets it over here. Again, make sure you're weaving in autos. He's doing that really well. Weaving in E's whenever it's off cooldown. And you can just walk the red buff over. He does do a good job at the end of kiting to the next camp. He could have gotten it to about this area instead of right here, but it's not that big of a difference right here, so that's okay. And then here, this charm I think may actually be better. I haven't tried charming the Krugs, but I feel like this may, just from the damage output from that Q and Smite, I think it may be a little bit quicker and healthier than just full clearing without using charm. But then again, you'll notice he'll move behind the small Krug before using his Q, the hate spikes of the Q. And that's because you want to make sure your hate spikes are hitting every single part of the camp. And that's something that you'll notice with every single camp, raptors, wolves, and Krugs, for at least. And then you can just walk off while the little Krugs burn, and I mean, you're set. That's the fastest clear on Evelynn. It gets you level 4, and then pretty much what you want to do is back, get a dark seal, and then go back to your bot side to continue farming. Now, one thing I will say is he's against a Lee Sin and he's on red side, so he did the same exact clear as Lee because Lee started in the bot side of the map and went to the top side. We also see Lee top right now, so honestly Lee is probably gonna be getting this scuttle crab just because it's a Lee Sin compared to you. The only way he doesn't get this scuttle crab is if he dies top and you end up getting a kill here. I'm sorry, not the Lee, the Nocturne. I apologize. I got the champions wrong. But yeah, so the only way that you don't get this, that you get this scuttle is if Nocturne dies or their jungler dies. And then, but what you would want to do if you're against, let's say he was against a Lee Sin jungle, what he would want to do is back and then go bot side and get the scuttle down here because it's not going to be contested. So you know Lee's top side, and he did the same exact clear as you, so you could just go to the other scuttle and get it for free without having to worry about dying or anything like that. You also want to get a dark seal as early as possible so you can start stacking that, because that is very important on Evelynn. And I'll have a build guide and a rune guide for her as well in a couple of days. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure to thumbs up and hit the subscribe button.